So guys, I've gotten a lot of video requests from you guys. This one in particular, I've gotten it over and over again, and that is how to make a timetable for Waec. So I decided to share with you guys a timetable of mine, and I think if you implement it and you're consistent, you have to be consistent at it, you're certainly going to succeed and ace this Waec effortlessly. In case you're new here, my name is Anikan and I post lifestyle content and a whole lot of things. So just make sure you hit that subscribe button, like, comment for more content like this. So guys, in case you don't know, a first year medical student, like I said, and for me during the time of Waec, I've been trying to avoid this topic because during the time of Waec I didn't draft any timetable, to be honest. In case you don't know, I wrote my Waec in SS2. The whole story time on that is coming up on my channel very soon. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, stick with me guys. I'm working on a schedule of posting every Friday. Really have a timetable, but I made a timetable for my first semester exams and it really helped me a lot in the exam, which I'm going to share with you guys now. Feel free to tweak it as you want. Like I always say, timetable is very specific to person. It depends on what you want, it depends on how your studying schedule or reading pattern works. As for me, I'm not really a night person. I love my night sleep. That is why after 12 my body is just tired and wants to just sleep. But it's only on some special occasion that I push myself extra. But if you're a night person and that works for you, it is totally fine. But I'm going to be putting up the timetable here up, and I'm also going to be explaining why some of these things that you're seeing is like that. I know it's quite messy. Please pardon me, please forgive me. I kind of ticked as I completed some of these things. So now for the first thing I did there, and the first advice I would give to anybody is put rank your courses, rank your subjects, rank whatever course you're taking. You can't tell me that you are not good at all these courses or you find every course difficult. No, 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 no. There are some subjects that you're very good at, and those ones should be down the bottom of the timetable, while the ones you're not very good at should be the top. Start with the ones you're not good at. If you're not good at physics, start with physics. If you're not good at chemistry, start with chemistry. You have to prep yourself very well so that even if the other courses tend to encroach into the time for the exam, you're very, very sure that you are good. You're not hurting your progress. You've completed the most important ones. So I want you to rank your courses, list out the courses you're taking, and put the hard ones. Start with the hard ones first. Now, the next thing you want to do is put a time frame. If you look at my timetable up here, you see that my time frame was from April 1st to 17th of April. Set a time frame which you want to complete your reading. Like from what you can see on my timetable, you see that my first day was from 1st April till 17th April. I wanted to complete my whole reading schedule within that time frame. Now, I think Waec has been pushed, so you should know the amount of time. I advise you to read within the space of 1 month, complete all your reading within 1 month. Then the later weeks you can use it to revise. Revision is also part of studying, take note. But before revising, I'll advise you to study first, like complete the whole syllabus first before you can actually go into revision. But the funny enough, anyhow you want to do it, as for me at this point in my life, as I study, I'm revising. Like when I'm done with the topic, I'm going to look for questions that I can revise and go through because they aren't time anymore. They isn't time anymore. So I advise you to, as you study it, if you complete studying a topic, go into the past question booklet. I'm sure you have a past question booklet. If you don't have, please, I'll advise you to get the Waec series. There's a series on it, series of past questions, and like answer questions pertaining to the topics you just completed. That would help you because you're doing two things at the same time. You're killing past question, you're trying to finish it, and at the same time you're also studying and covering a huge amount. So from this my timetable, you see what I did. I dedicated 2 days to every subject. Like I was taking chemistry and I put GST there. just in case I have free time. Like, what will I be using my free time to do? Like, anytime I don't want to study chemistry, because sometimes it gets really boring reading a particular subject for a lengthy amount of time. So what I did, I put GST there just in case I want a switch up of things. I could just switch to GST. So at the same time, I'm killing two birds at the same time, because GST is a subject I'm going to write in exams, and chemistry is also a subject I'm going to write in exams. So you see the killing I'm doing. So yeah, that is what you can do. You can dedicate 3 days to a particular subject, and that is, I dedicated 2 days each to every of my course. So you can do the same, or you can dedicate 3 days. I think 3 days is okay, honestly, with the bulk of work thing you have to complete from first SS1 to SS3. But I advise you to start from the topics you don't know really well. Like for me, if I'm going to start physics, I know that these are the particular topics I really need to start very well, and that is the one I'm going to start with. So I advise you to do it that way. Start with the topics you're not very sure of. I know that my knowledge on dimensions is good, so I can push that one to a later date. But I know that my electricity, or okay, let me say my optics knowledge is not so good. I'm going to start with optics before going back to dimension. So start with the topics you're not sure of, and complete these things within the space of 3 days. Within the space of 3 days, yes. Then you can dedicate one more day. But how I did I completed at least 3 courses before I dedicated one day. Like, I from first to second April, forgive me for looking down, I wrote it down on my jotter. From the 1st to the 2nd of April, it was chemistry. From the 3rd to the 4th, it was zoo. And from the 5th to the 6th was physics 1040. Then 7th was past questions slash just 103 day. So now, past question day, what I do during past question day is get my past questions and I revise, I go through it. That day is only for past question. You use your past question to study. The past question is a way of integrating active recall into your studying. And if you've been on my channel for the longest, I talked about active recall, and I talked about active recall and the right way to study when I made my video on how to ace Waec. I think I'm going to leave the two of them up here so you can actually see it. So active recall is really, really important, and the way of inaugurating active recall is using past question. Start from the recent years before you go into the past years. Like, read from the back to the front, not from front to back, because the syllables have changed. They change the syllables every, I don't know whether it's every year, but I know they change the syllables. So for you to be up to date, start from back, from the present, from the latest year they have, and move, yeah, backwards. So that is what I'll advise you to do. Revise as much past question. It's okay if sometimes you don't know it. Take note of it. Go to your textbooks. Get textbooks. Yes, guys. I've talked about all of these points in my video. I'm not going to be repeating myself over, because I don't see an essence. If you already watched that video, there's no need for me to say it again. So but if you have not watched the video, I'm going to leave the link down below. You should go check out that video so that you can have a better understanding on some of these techniques to follow. So based on what you can see on my timetable, after studying, I have past question days. I look for past questions from previous years and I try my best to answer those questions. It's okay if you don't know it. If you don't know it, go to the textbook, read on it, any topic. And the funny enough, as I read through these past questions, I take note of the topics that I'm not good at. Those are the topics that I'm going to also study again when I'm done with my whole timetable. Like, these are the topics I'll still go back to read again, which means I'm not so good at it. And if you're very good at time management, I'll advise you, even as you're taking note of this topic, you should be reading up these topics, because you might not have time again to go back and study them again. So this is how my timetable works for me. And one more thing, apart from this timetable, if you look down, you can see weekly record, my to-do list. I have a to-do list for every day, because sometimes you just wake up and you're like, what am I going to do? You just wake up and you feel so confused. You don't know what to do. You don't know where to start. This is where the weekly schedule slash to-do list comes into play. What I do is that I schedule each day. I put check boxes, or I just write it where I'm going to strike it, and I list out the things that I'm going to be doing for that day, the subjects I'm going to be reading for that day, and you write it in a feasible manner. Don't go and write things that you're sure you can't complete that day. Like, I know that I can read like 3 topics in one if I'm really committed. So you list it out on this to-do list. You start it and you take it as you go. So I think that will help you a lot. That helped me a lot because I had a to-do list and I basically listed out topics from the hardest to the simplest. So I advise you to try that too. Another timetable alternative or something else that works for you, I advise you to leave it down below in the comment section down below. A lot of people would want to learn from you. Please do click that subscribe button, hit the like button, and stay tuned.